Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to this week's episode of Faith, Lies, and Confusion. I'm your host, Godless Reggie. As always, I have a couple friends with me, slash support group support members. I have the amazing, multi-talented Afro Atheist with me today. Good afternoon, how are you?
I am good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good,
Good to
relaxing,
be
enjoying
here.
my last day off today. Unfortunately, I got to go to work tomorrow, but we all got to pay the bills, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Unfortunately, today my other partners in crime, Tia and Jay, are not going to be here. They have other obligations, but maybe they'll tap in. I'm sure they're watching. Um, Shout out to both of them. All right, let's get right into it. This week's episode is the history of marriage, polygamy, and the influence of Christianity on it. Give me 1 second. I think I want to talk about polygamy first, right? I got some things
Hmm.
jotted. I got some things jotted down. I'll also bring up some stuff on the board. But what I have jotted down is polygamy has been widely accepted in many societies since ancient times. But what exactly is polygamy? Most people have the idea that it means one man has multiple wives at the same time. But polygamy is more generic than that, truthfully. Early human beings, hunter gatherers, practice polygamy with multiple male and multiple females for mating, right? Other ancient I can't even get it out, civilizations, powerful men in ancient China, India, Africa, and the Americas, and Europe often had hundreds, if not thousands, of wives. In ancient Greece, high status men might marry a woman and also have a homosexual relationship with young men. What's your thoughts on all of that?
Wait, who's having homosexual relationships with young men?
I'm gonna read it again because it's hard to me. It seems like it always goes back to one group of people. I don't know why it is, but
Mm.
ancient civilizations, powerful men in ancient China, India, Africa, the Americas, and Europe often had hundreds or thousands of women as wives. In ancient Greece, high status men might marry women and also have homosexual relationships with young men as well.
Of course. Of course. I mean, see, have you heard the term um every hole is a goal?
Mm-mm.
Have you heard that term?
No, no,
Every
no.
hole is a goal. Hey Mikey, every
I've
hole is you see, this is why when people start saying, "Oh, we didn't have homosexuality in Africa. Homosexuality was brought to us by the white man," and I think we are naturally explorative. We are people that want to discover. We want to know. We're curious beings, and so people want to know where does this go? Where can I put it in here? Will it fit? Will it? These are all the things, and so now for as long as people have been, engaging that way, it has always been a thing. It's just the way it is.
I think more that it's more of a mammal thing because most
Mm-hmm.
species of mammals I've seen it watching National Geographic or whatever. I think it's more of a natural thing than people try to give it credit for. But again, now that I'm older and I see religion from the outside looking in, I realize that the hate or the disdain for homosexuality, one way or the other, comes from religion. However you look at it. Um,
True.
Jewish and Christian traditions on polygamy. The Torah and the Old Testament mention plural marriages, including those of Abraham, Jacob, and David. However, these groups rejected the practice in Middle Ages, and it has generally not been accepted by Jesus or Christians in recent centuries. Some Christians seek like the Church of Jesus, like for example, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter Day Saints, practiced polygamy in the United States until about the 1800s. West Africa, polygamy is common in animal and excuse me, oh, in mid and West Africa, with nearly 47% of marriages in Senegal involving multiple women. Would you like to touch on that? 'Cause I'm sure you can speak on that better than I
Sorry,
can.
I didn't hear that last bit. I
I
didn't hear
said
that last bit.
polygamy in West Africa is common and in West and Central Africa, with nearly 47% of marriages in Senegal involving multiple women.
Oh goodness. Do you know how many wives my grandfather had?
How many?
27. At
I don't,
first, we were told it was 21, and I always thought, okay, 21. But later, someone said, no, you never had 21. What are you talking about? Why would you cut down his wives by how many? He says 27. I said, 27. And, there's a lot of people now who have left religion and they are clamoring for us to go back to the way the way the ancestors did it, marrying many wives. In a compound, you can have all these many wives. Listen, that scares me because listen, it was not good with my grandfather and his many wives. Oh my! At the time of his death, there was only one left, and that was the youngest wife, and she was old enough to be his granddaughter. So no, this whole idea of people having many wives, I don't know. I honestly do not know. I'm not for it. I am not for it at all. I'm not because I've seen what it can do to people. So mm-mm.
I mean, my personal opinion, 21, 27. I don't got enough dick for that. That's just me. But
Some people are greedy. Some people they think they can. They think why not?
20, come on, man. First of all, and then
Yeah,
like
what are you on about?
if you think about like is this man supposed to be taking care of these, providing for all these women? Hell nah. I ain't about to be doing all that shit. All them damn kids. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. I'm not
What's
doing
really
that.
taking it? But the thing is with these people is it becomes a community. It becomes a community. Some women will go out and maybe go work, farm, right? Do farming, do menial jobs, bring some money home, right? Everyone's doing something. The children are the older ones start to raise the younger ones. It becomes a community. So I guess there are perks. There are
For what?
perks to having
For
this kind of large families. I guess there are.
Nah, because think about it. All right, what about when the kids get older to dating age? Because it's not going to take long. It's only going to take 12, 13, 14 years. You know what I'm saying? These people are going to want to start dating. Who the fuck are you going to date? Your brother and sister, your cousins? You don't need me to start a community. Now,
Hmm.
you know me, and you didn't have this conversation before, and I ain't gonna lie, I was ignorant about some things, but life is a learning lesson. So I used to honestly think that the reason why they practice polygamy is because there's more females in the
Women.
world,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. More
women in the
women to
world than
men.
men,
Right,
and that's
right,
not true. That's not true. What it does
right.
is it puts people in a certain position. It puts men at a lower position. And the reason why is because the only reason why people even agree to polygamy is because I ain't gonna say the only reason why, but one of the reasons why is for financial security, right? So, say for instance, if your grandfather could afford to take care of 20 something women the way they wanted him to take care of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about the average Joe Schmo? What about the 9 to 5 guy? He don't get shit. He don't get nothing,
Of course not. Of course not.
right?
Let me let
Then
me let me say quick hello to it's Mikey watching Thunder Scorpion. Hello, long time no see. Thunder Scorpion, where have you been? Pragmatic Crystal AR. What the back, what the back, what the back, what the back. Hey AR, good to see you.
they also have practiced it in Arab nations, obviously. In the Muslim community, it's also relatively common in many Arab nations, excuse me, including among the Bishon population of Israel, where it is practiced. is about 30% of marriages moving forward in history. We see that virtually all large human civilizations were polygamous in one way or the other. Um, the rules of ancient China, India, Africa, and America, or even Europe, all kept hundreds sanctions of thousands of women and for wives at their disposal, basically. So I really don't think that the polygamy movement really was the best situation for women, probably ever.
For women, yes. For women, yes. Yeah, you're right. Do you think it would have? Do you think it was great for men? Do you think that there was? Do you think that men would have found some kind of benefit and value from being in this multiple wife scenario?
Um, I would say yes and no, but I'm leaning more towards the yes side. Okay.
Okay,
I would say yes if you're saying in terms of, all right, well, his lineage, people he can help, well, people that can help him grow crops, bring
right, right,
income to the house, and things like that. Yeah, he does benefit in that. Well, obviously, sexual partners. Yeah,
right.
he definitely is going to benefit in all that. But if we're looking at it from the other side, if he is expected to take care of all these individuals, then
Mm.
I don't know why he wants to do that because I'm not
No,
exerting myself like
that's
that.
the thing. That's the thing. They weren't taking care of these individuals. It was the woman, right? The woman stayed home looking after these individuals. The men didn't. What do you mean? The men were out there doing whatever the men do. So they're not at home looking after the kids. And that's why it was easy for them to just, carry on the way that they did. Now a lot more focus is on men staying home and nurturing the kids. Now you see more pictures of men with the babies, and you see a man looking after. There was a time when if you as a man was helping your woman at home, helping doing housework, they will call you a simp. Well, not the word simp, but they will, they will say that you are the woman in the house and your
Uh-huh.
woman is the man, right? It became a taboo for a man to be doing those kind of jobs in the home. So, I think I see how this could have been easy to do once upon a time, right? But now things are changing. Women are, they're becoming more assertive. And so I don't know about the many wives situation to be detrimental.
I don't. I definitely wouldn't want it for myself. I could definitely say that, especially when we're talking about the numbers that we were saying. About like your person. Well, not your personal situation, about your grandfather. I definitely wouldn't want that for myself. Polygamy means multiple spouses. The most common form is polygyny, where a man can have many wives. Less common, but found in some societies, such as Tibet, is polyandry,
Polyandry.
where a woman can have many husbands. Polygyny was accepted or even preferred in three-fourths of pre-industrial traditional societies, though it was seldom practiced by the commoners or lower classes. It tended to occur most frequently in societies where the route to winning wealth and political power was through attracting followers or having lots of sons to hunt for the family head or defend the family's land.
Mm.
So a man might marry several wives and have them produce textiles. He could trade or grow food for elaborate feasts he could use to put poor members of the community in his debt. Just like we were saying, if it's for growing crops and gaining things like that, then yeah, I could see how a man would benefit. But that's the other point that I said: putting other people in a worse situation, other men is making them poor, giving them less options and things like that. So in other cases, wealthy men accumulated many wives to produce more sons. It was very common for kings and other royalty to have many wives, both as a way to make alliances with other states or noble families, and to ensure that they would have plenty of heirs. The king of Marina in the highlands of Madagascar had 12 wives. Each had a palace in the different part of his country. How you feel about that?
Mm, so on the subject of polyandry, um, there's still parts of Africa where polyandry is still a thing. It's not well known. So there are cultures in Nigeria where a woman who's got no kids at all, has no kids of her own, her husband, she loses her husband, and so she's on her own. She can marry a young lady, right? She will marry a young lady, but that young lady, they reckon it's not sexual, right? It's not sexual, but she'll marry the young lady so that that young lady can, and she gets to choose who the man who she will lay down with and have those babies with. She chooses that man, right? And the man only will engage with this young lady only for the purpose of having kids. And when he is done, he goes. Now she and this woman, they rear the kids together, and um the kids are hers, right? So I'm not really sure how this system really works, but it's just there's this whole thing of um the name, right? You have to um prolonging your name, right? Your name meant a lot. Your name was everything, and you wanted to see to it that your name was what's the word I'm trying to find? The your name keeps going. You never want your name to stop. So it's about having the boy child, right? The boy child is the one that will continue to have that name. You never want that name to go into extinction. So I don't know. It's all this whole. Hey, thanks for the compliments. Sis, I'm looking lovely today. Thank you. As long as everyone is consenting and not being brainwashed into a cult, being married off against their will. Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, there's no one rule where how people should do marriage, love, relationship, all this. There's no one rule. I'm not here to say, oh, this is how you should do it. Absolutely not. But however you do it, whatever that looks like to you, it's got to be consenting. That's number one. Number two, you've got to be sensible. Be sensible about what you're doing. Number three, you've got to make sure that you know that you're not shortchanging yourself, right? You're not doing it at the behest of someone else. If someone else might be telling you, oh, this is what I want, and because you're in a relationship with that person, now you've got to sign on to whatever it is that they want. No, if you're not for that, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay there. It's all about what you want as well. So was I
Definitely.
rambling? Was I
No,
rambling there,
no,
Reggie? Okay.
no, not at all. But to touch on some of what you just said, even though this is from a different part of the world, it it takes a certain amount of wealth to support more than one wife. But in many
Mm,
pre-industrial societies, having several wives increased a man's wealth and political power rather than being a drain on his resources. Polygyny is not usually associated with a high status for women in and in many cultures it involved very young women being forced to marry older men. Still, in a society where gender roles are very rigid and women do most of the work around the farm and household, some women like having a co-wife. In Botswana, women having an interesting twist on the old saying, a woman's work is never done. They say
mm,
without co wives, a woman's work is never done. Such
mm.
women claim that having other wives to help meet some of their husband's demands and to share the child rearing gives them more freedom than women in monogamous unions. So that's kind of similar to what you said. Not exactly, obviously, but a similar mind state. Um, have you heard anything about that in Botswana?
Not just Botswana, but parts of Africa, where the idea, like I said earlier on, housework is that's a woman's thing. Housework. That's you can't find the man doing housework. In fact, it's a taboo in some parts to find a man laying the bed, taking out the trash. What's he got children for? What's he got children for? Right? What's he got the wife for? Right? This is not something that is permitted at all. Um, I I still remember when I was married. My mother-in-law did not like me. She didn't. She just for some reason just did not like me, and everything I did, everything I did or didn't do was always scrutinized. If I moved this way, oh, she moved this way. If I moved that way, it was like there was no pleasing. And so, whenever mom is around, because his mom would visit from time to time, whenever she was around, there are jobs that he can't do because mom is around and mom must not see him doing those jobs. So, when all the time I was married, all the time that I was married, nearly 10 years, I don't remember a time where he laid the bed. No, the bed, and he would say, "Oh, that's your mom." He'd say to the boys, "That's your mom's job." The kitchen, right? So he might go out, buy a couple of things for the home, and he'll ring me and say, "Oh, I bought some things for you. I bought some things for your kitchen." I'm like, "For my kitchen? Is it not your kitchen also?" "Yeah, but you're the one who does all the jobs in there." So the kitchen was always my kitchen. The bedroom was always my bedroom. So yeah, these were just the things.
See, I mean, I have conversations like that with people as well. I mean, obviously, I never, experienced or been through nothing like that. But my take on all that is okay. If you feel like that, if you really feel like that, if you're a man and you feel like that, then the only way to even have a leg to stand on in that argument is if you pay for every fucking thing. And me personally, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So if we gotta split everything, we can split that too. It's only fair in my opinion. I met this guy. I used to work on the road for a few years, so I used to meet all kind of people and shit. So you'll end up sitting there talking to him because you're working right next to him, right? And he was a little bit younger than me, so at the time I was probably like about 35, 36. So he probably was like 31, 32. So he lived in Texas, right? So he knew that he had to fly back out to go where he was from, and I had to drive back home because I was only maybe like 4 or 5 hours away, right? So we were talking about doing our laundry before we left because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do my laundry, make sure my shit is clean, so when I go back, I don't gotta worry about it. Man, this man told me that he ain't even know how to do laundry. I'm looking at him like, how the fuck did you make it in life? So what he
Hmm.
told me was, he said that his mom taught him that that's a woman's job. He said he don't know how to wash
Yeah.
dishes or none of that shit. He said when they was kids, he said his mom, if they would even attempt to wash the dishes, and because he's a man, that she would come right behind him, make him stop, and like get out of here and start washing dishes and shit for him. And so when he's telling me this, I'm like, damn, your mom done fucked you up. She didn't literally fucked you up because my mom taught me different. So when we was young, my mom had an attitude like anything that you big enough to do for yourself, you doing.
Mm-hmm.
Ironing
Mm-hmm.
your clothes, washing your clothes. I knew how to do that shit when I was 5 and 6 years old. My mom didn't play that. If you want it done, do it yourself. Go wash some dishes, go do this, because I ain't doing shit. I pay for everything in here. Y'all do it. So she
Mm-hmm.
taught us how to do that shit. And I never understood that.
I mean, with myself and my boys, it's not. I love doing housework because, of course, this is what I when I was married, I did the housework, so it's something you can't take away from me. And so even now, I just carry on. Let the boys just, they might just chill. If I need help, come on, boys, come on. Like we've just come back in from doing some shopping, right? And they've sorted the shopping out. That's on them. I've just, let them do it, right? So, but we do things together. But when it's the kitchen, that's my department. I don't know. I just do not like sharing that space with anybody. It's just, I don't know. It's just something about it. When I'm in the kitchen, I just want to be left alone. I just want when they start coming. Oh, mom, no, 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 can you just leave me alone? So yeah, I might have spoiled them a little bit. I don't know.
I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with whoever house it is to make sure everything is cool. You know what I'm saying? Make sure everything's clean because, you know, you may want your shit cleaned a certain way versus how your kids want it. I get all that. But my point is this: why would you teach a person to be dependent on somebody else? So this man that I'm telling you about that I met on the road, you know what I mean? He was single and didn't have no female right in his life and didn't know how to do none of this shit. So
So
my
who
point is,
who did his shopping for him? Sorry, who did his washing then?
I, I have no fucking idea, but I know
Probably
one.
took it to mom's house.
I don't know, but his mom didn't fuck the back. However you
Mm,
look at it, she
mm,
didn't send him off on a bad path in life.
mm.
Like what would make you think that shit, bro? Like that's just her
And
job.
and you know something, that man, when he is looking for a mate, he will be looking for mommy's replica.
Hmm.
That would be the criteria he's looking for in a mate. He'll be
Hmm.
looking for someone that, can cook, clean, and do the things mommy does. He'll be looking for mommy number two.
But then he's stupid too, because if you think about it, most times when fresh relationships may start, he may have something already still going on his side. Then he expect the person he ain't even in a relationship with to wash his clothes. Shit be done went in his pocket, found all kind of shit. He's stupid as fuck. That's why when he was telling me that, I'm just looking at him, I'm like, so you really gonna just date a woman so she could just go in your clothes and just wash your shit and just clean your house for you? Like, why don't you just get a maid or some shit? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I didn't get that when he said that, and he was saying it with like pride, like, oh, I don't know how to wash my clothes. I'm looking at him like, you dumb as fuck. All you gotta do is push the button, fool. So that was on him. But
So
we get
Aya says, my mom taught me how to make an egg. Now I can cook better than she can. That's nice. She says he was living in a hotel with staff. Mm.
no, because this wasn't. I don't know if you American, whoever you is, AR, but this wasn't nothing but what hotel was it? Probably like the Comfort Inn or some shit like that. So no, they got a laundry service. The dryer don't work and you got to pay for it. And nah, yeah, they don't do that. But we getting way off track here talking about this random dude.
Yeah, at some point we need to try and bring it back to Christianity and yes, Christianity. When does Christianity come in? That's I'm waiting for that because there's that in Christianity there's that whole idea that the man is at the top, the woman is at the bottom, and back in those days when I didn't know better, okay, that's what God wants, but now. mm, 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 Please do not try that shit with me. Do not bring it near me. Don't even try it. Man is the head. I'll smack that head.
That's why I said I don't want to lead. I tell women all the time I'm not trying to lead because I'm not paying for shit. If it's not 50-50, I don't need it. I can hustle and struggle on my own. I'm not about to take on nobody else and I'm not doing all that.
No,
But
no, no. You shouldn't be made to do that. You shouldn't be made to do that.
it's
No.
not it's not fair. It's not
No,
fair for
it's
either
not.
person.
It's not. It's not. And I think there was a time when women depended on men to look after them. There's that whole idea of, oh, I can't wait to get married so I can be looked
Hmm.
after and all this and that. Right? But what about you? What are you going to be doing with yourself? How you now you hear things like, what are you bringing to the table?
Hmm.
What are you bringing to the table? You think you're just going to come and just, chill out and let someone else do everything for you. Oh no, not
I tell people
happening.
I tell people all the time. A lot of times, why people stay with religion is for two reasons. I speak from the male's point of view and the woman's point of view. The male's point of view is to keep your ass in check. You got to listen to what I say,
Mm,
right? So
mm,
that's the perk
mm,
from being a man, right? And
mm.
from a woman, the perk about it is because now she can make you feel obligated to take care of her and her fucking kids. And
Yes,
if you're not a leader and you're not a provider, you're not a godly man. So guess what? I'm not a godly man. I'm not doing it. But
there's a verse in the Bible that says, he that does not work must not eat. So if you cannot work, you cannot eat. If you're not
I mean,
working, you're not eating. And some people translate that to mean a man that doesn't look after his family, he ain't getting nothing. He's not getting anything at all. So
oh,
yeah.
as we say
Oh,
over
you
here,
went by X. Okay, 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 okay. All right, yeah.
the $40 is cheaper here, but I'll tell you about that joke another time.
What
So let
forty
me.
dollars? What forty
It's
dollars? What are you talking about?
it's a joke. It's an American joke. It kind of means that it all started from. It seems like every time a woman would ask you for anything, it would be $40, right? For $40.
Really?
So we just started saying it costs $40.
Oh.
We're getting off topic. Well, we've been off topic for a while. So let's get back to the concept of marriage. For most of the early Christian era, the church stayed out of weddings, and let the state handle the union of man and woman. Around 800 AD, the church began to perform weddings.
Hey, wait a
Early,
sec.
early
So,
Greek and Egyptian and Jewish preferred family. Preferred family marriages, which means brothers and sisters and cousins, to keep their bloodlines pure. I don't know something about those Greeks. They some freaky brothers. Many early tribal weddings, ancient and modern, capturing women from enemies has been a time honored way of procuring wives. The Romans did that as well. Another method of obtaining women or a wife throughout history has been arranged marriages with money passing between the parties, sometimes a bride price or a dowry. Whoever doesn't know what a dowry is money or property that the bride brings from her family into the marriage. Don't they practice that in Africa as well?
sorry, say that again. Sorry, I was busy checking something else.
No, I was asking you about bride prices and dowries. I was asking about your input on that. And
Oh, you know that's the conversation. Mm-mm. Oh, dowries. Oh, Reggie, you don't want to do dowries. Oh my God, it
why not?
is. I think the way dowries is practiced in the part of the world where I grew up in, I think it's an abomination. Um, and dowries need to be outlawed completely because it's like selling your women. It's like selling your female. It's like your female. She is property. They wait until it's time for her to get married so we can bring out the list. We can bring out the the this is how much you owe. When it was time for me to be married, when they brought that list out, oh my God, it was shocking to the extent they were asking for. There was you had to bring something for everyone in the entire family, right? There was stuff for my mom, stuff for my dad, um, Reggie to the extent a football for the community youth. Football, you had to bring rappers for the grandma that I don't even know. There were things that you had to. It was yeah, and then the worst part of it, Reggie. This was the worst part. So me and my ex, we of course we had the child before marriage, right?
Uh huh.
So we had the child before marriage, and so As far as they're concerned, that's an insult, right? That is an insult because you have gone on to marry our girl without
Wait.
seeking, well, you've gone on to have kids with her
Okay. Okay.
without
I get it.
seeking permission, right? So that's an insult. So, first things first, right? When you go and speak to the elders of the family, then they say to you, well, before we start speaking about your bride price, right? The bride price you're going to pay to us, we have to take care of this insult first. You have
Mhm.
insulted the family, right? You've taken our girl and da. And so
Deflowered her, huh?
yes, so the price to pay for the insult with two
Wait
goats, two goats.
a
You had to pay two goats.
minute. Wait a minute. So I got to take care of this kid, right? And I got to give your ass two goats, and she the one that let
You
me hit
should
it.
have you should have laid you should have laid with me to begin with. What the hell? You should have laid with her to begin with, right? If you knew you would, this was the insult. It's crazy. Insult goats.
Wait a minute. Listen,
Sorry.
every other time we can somehow blame it on the woman. You know, kind of like how the Adam and Eve story, how it's Eve's
Yes,
fault,
yes,
but
yes.
it's clearly not her fault. But how come in this situation we can't be like, you know what? She forced me into it. She got me drunk. She held me down. Right? You can't do that. That's fucked up.
Listen, that insult goat, right? So of course, I mean, there's only so much. We've got kids to look after. There's only so much money that we can afford, right? To uh paying for this whole thing. There was a lot on that list. It was crazy. I had to ask them to please redo this. This is too much. You want the man to run away? Is that what you
Right.
people want? You want him to run away and leave me with the child? You better go and sort. Listen, I was angry with the family. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Right? You think
Mhm.
that I've married the richest man on the planet? He's not the richest. Hello,
That's
we are
extortion,
putting
really.
monies together. We are putting monies together, right? So whatever monies they're charging, they think they're charging him. It's my money as well. It's half and half. We're paying half and half to take care of this. And so I'd say to them, come on now, you guys try and be a bit reasonable here. So they cut down on some of the things. And so when my ex, he too, he's a bit of a cheapskate. He's a bit of a yeah, he will try and pull a fast one, right? So they went and bought the goats, and they came back. There were two small goats. What do I know? I just saw two small goats. They presented the goats to the family. Guess what, Reggie? Everyone in the family, some of the people on the day of the traditional wedding, I noticed people were, yeah, they had their faces all screwed, like, and I'm thinking, what is wrong with these people? Why have they got faces like this? Aren't you supposed to be happy for me? I've come with this is what you all wanted. They said to me, look, you can go and do the white wedding, right? That's church wedding. If you like, go and do the court wedding. So long as you haven't been to do this, the African way of getting married, they said, as far as we are concerned, you are not married. You are not married as far as we're concerned because you have to come and pay this money. And so they said to they eventually I found out why everyone, well, the people who had their faces all screwed up. What's wrong with you? Oh, uh, your man brought two baby goats. When we asked for goats, it wasn't babies we asked for. It was, yeah, it was insults goats. He added more insults to the insult. I was like, fuck you people. Honestly, I couldn't deal with it. I just couldn't.
That shit
You're not
crazy.
crazy.
That is craziness. And then think about it. I'd be like, I would have thought that the baby goats would be more valuable than the adult goats, right?
No, because they were going to be cooked, Reggie. It's not valid. It's going to be cooked.
Oh, they don't want to
Mm.
wait. Oh, they
No, no,
want
no,
their
they're going to be
curry
cooked. Mm,
now.
mm, 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 mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I
we're
get it.
going
I
to.
get it.
This is listen because you're bringing a baby goat. How much can the family eat? right? Because everyone's banking on this. See, the time when we pay the dowry, the bride price, they call it bride price. That time, that is when the families get to eat. Some people have not had new clothes for the last 2 years, right? And all of a sudden they get a cloth because their distant, their 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 granddaughter or their somebody in the family get married, and they say, "Oh, this is for you from the bride price." So a lot of men depend on this whole thing because it is apart from the dowries, there's food items, right? There's yams, there is palm oil, there is kola nut. There's all these different things that you present. So I think what I might do, I might show you what a traditional wedding looks like in these parts of the world. And no, thankfully, both my parents are dead. I don't know about getting
It's
married.
fucked up.
I don't know about getting married again. But if I ever got married again, look, anyone who is expecting me to come and do, listen, don't even think it. Don't even don't nah, not happening. I am not even going to entertain that nonsense.
My thing is this.
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to work on my the honeymoon money. You think I'm gonna take out of my money to give to your ass and I'm getting married? You should be paying me. Where the fuck is my gift set for my wedding? I want gold. Shit, I love chicken and shit. Give it to me. I ain't giving you shit. And if that's what it depends on for you to come to my wedding, you to support it, and for you to recognize it, then I just ain't
Yeah,
married
but
in your ass. Fuck you.
Reggie, that's the thing with cultures, customs, traditions, right? And this is why people they will do anything to hang on to these cultures. They will hang on to it. Oh, this is the way our forefathers did. Because yes, you're benefited from it. You're sold your
Right.
daughters, right? Because at the end of all these customs and traditions, it's still the women and children, right,
Hmm.
that they get taken advantage of. At the end of it,
Yeah.
women and children.
And at the end of the day, in my opinion, is you selling your daughter. Well, I'm buying the daughter from the father. That's how it's gonna feel to me. Like here, pops. I don't feel like doing all that. I ain't doing all that. But Catholic and Protestants difference. They have differences in their views of marriages. This became clear from the beginning of Reformation. Catholics have long seen marriage as somewhat less godly than singleness, and during the Middle Ages, it's estimated about 40% or more of men and women remain single, either for spiritual reasons or economic necessity. Martin Luther, however, held the view that marriage was the moral proper condition of men and women, and it became universal among his followers and other groups of Protestants. So basically, what that means is ever since Martin Luther's existence, and the Protestants, which are whatever the opposite are, whatever denomination that's opposite of Catholicism, so all of them,
Yeah,
ever since the
Protestant. Yes.
yes, all of those denominations since Martin Luther have really incorporated the idea of marriage, but traditionally Catholicism didn't really support it. Um, I never knew that until about a day ago,
Okay.
but it sounds about right to me, especially
So
with all the weird stuff.
what did the Catholics do then?
Um, I don't know. It doesn't specify, but it said that it preferred it over marriage, and that makes sense to me because if you think about it,
Mhm.
they want the Pope to remain
Celibate.
unmarried,
Celibate, yeah.
celibate, right? The nuns and all that, which is
Mm.
unrealistic.
It
Which
is
is it's
unrealistic. It's come
completely
on now.
unrealistic.
Come
And
on.
then like what you were saying about tradition, yeah, that's true. People try to keep traditions going, but think about some of the traditions that these people uh, promote,
Yeah.
like circumcision, especially uh, traditional circumcision with the mouth. That shit is crazy. So
In Judaism, that one.
I
Yeah.
mean,
That is
yeah, yeah,
ridiculous.
in Judaism,
Mm,
yes,
mm, mm.
but I mean, not all traditions are good things, and I don't know.
No, no. not all traditions. And the idea that we've been doing this for, this is how we've always done things. This is the way we've always done it, right? And so we are stuck. Absolutely not. We can, this is why we evolve as people. And so these customs, these traditions, and these doctrines and practices and whatever y'all do needs to also evolve as well, right? Any custom that you want to hang on to so dearly, and you say, "Oh, we can't change it. We can't." No, why not? It didn't get to you. It didn't get to you just out of nowhere, right? You all adopted these things over a period of time, and so it is. It can be changed. It can be looked into. We can, modify them. We can, if possible, just scrap them altogether.
Exactly. So I think I got the wrong one
Yeah,
pulled up.
Miss Missani. Hey, Miss Missani. Robert X says, the afraid is nobody can marry you. You who could pay the 100 million that you are worth? No, nobody needs to pay any money for me. No, 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 it's okay. I mean, I would rather, be with somebody, and it's it's a thing. It's a case of, oh no, I don't want anyone to have to pay anything for me, because when we had done the traditional, that whole Nigerian way of getting married, because of my father, where my father is from. So we paid all the monies, and 50-50. It was 50-50, right? My family didn't know that me and him have put money together to do this wedding. It cost us an arm and a leg, my goodness. And by the time we were done, come back to the UK. Now, this gentleman looked at me. I still remember in the kitchen. He said to me, uh, now that I've paid the now that I've paid your bride price, there I don't ever want to hear any excuses. Anytime I want it, you have to give it to me because I've paid for
Hmm,
it.
that's rough.
So this is why when we do these sort of things, it's the woman at the end of the day that pays the price. The man thinks that now I've paid all this money, she's my possession, right? I get to do whatever the hell I want with her, right? Because I've paid. It, as a woman, right? It's not a nice feeling to know that this person now sees you as, a commodity that he has paid for. He gets to do whatever the hell he wants with you. No, that wasn't nice. To be told that was not nice.
It's definitely not nice. It's definitely fucked up. But more importantly, well, I ain't gonna say more importantly. I just feel like it's the parents' fault more than anything, because they're the ones sitting there. It's kind of like the situation when we talk about drugs in the United States, right? So at the end of the day, you kind of have to blame the people that want the shit. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that's pushing it. I'm not saying that the man is right. He's definitely not right. He's definitely not right in the situation. But the person who is more of the culprit is the person that's asking for that shit. Because if they weren't asking for that, he wouldn't have that leg to stand on. He wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
feel in his mind like, oh yeah, I didn't pay all this money. She belonged to me. She my wife. I didn't bought her from her dad. Because in essence, that's what you're doing. You buying it from the parents. It is fucked up, but
It is,
it's
and this is where people need to, you protect your own, you protect your children,
hmm
because this is with the traditions, because these are customs, and people start putting pressure on you to impose this on the future generation. Why should you do that? Why should you? You should be challenging these customs. You should be challenging the polygamy, polygyny, you know, the practices that are harmful to people. You should be challenging, including Christianity, religion, whatever it is that is harmful to people. not just passing it on to the next generation. And this is why I always say that my children do not deserve my ignorance.
Right.
Both my sons do not believe in God, right? And thankfully, they don't, because they do not deserve in what I went through, the indoctrination, the brainwashing. They don't deserve that, and so I've worked hard to not pass that on to them, right? So this is where we need to um, take responsibility for our actions and see to it that we are not passing on the bad, the bad, the things that gave us all the biggest problems, and the mental health issues, and how we were raised. You don't want to pass those on to to children and to the younger generation. No, you don't want to do that. Mm-mm.
I agree 100%. I'm just trying to pull up the first recorded marriage. I know it's in the Mesopotamia
Mm,
area. Give me 1 second here. For some reason, I'm having a hard time pulling it up.
I can see it.
Okay. No, this ain't the right
I
one.
mean, but if anyone has 100 million to pay for me, I mean, I'll happily take it back. Just yeah.
I don't blame you on that one either.
Send me a DM. I mean, in fact, my mom and dad, they're no longer here. They're gone. So yeah, we'll make you pay half instead. Uh,
For some reason, I'm having a hard time, but I know it's on the screen, so
I can see it.
see if I can blow it up. Okay. Many cultures have legends concerning the origins of marriage. The way in which a marriage is conducted and its rules and ramifications have changed over time, as has the institution itself, depending on the culture or demographic of the time. The first recorded evidence of marriage ceremonies and uniting a man and woman dates back approximately 2350 BC in ancient Mesopotamia. Wedding ceremonies, as well as dowry and divorce, can be traced back to Mesopotamia and Babylonia.
Mm,
According to ancient Hebrew tradition, a wife has was seen as being property of high value and was therefore usually carefully looked after. Early nomadic communities in the Middle East practiced a form of marriage known as Dana, in which a wife would own a tent of her own, within which she retains complete independence from her husband. This principle appears to survive in paths of early Israelite society, as some early passages of the Bible appear to portray certain wives as each owning a tent as a personal possession, specifically Jael, Sarah, and Jacob's wives. I guess that sounds a little bit better. I mean, from the woman's point of view, she got her own
so
crib.
if she's getting a tenth, um, how did Solomon split his?
What you mean, his tent?
I mean, if the women were getting a tenth,
Hmm.
he had 700 wives and 300 concubines. I mean, how did he split his wealth among those
Right,
women? Huh?
right. Great
How
question.
did he split all his wealth among those people?
Seemed like he would have to be working 24/7, 365, 20 years straight before he
No,
met any
no,
of them to even
no. He
start it.
would no, no. He wasn't working at all to do any of those things. He was busy laying down with all those women. Because how do you have all that many women, and how are you able to get on doing other things? All he
Right.
did was be with the women. That's all he did. That's all he
That's
did. All he did was, yeah,
that's all
I'm
he would
keeping
have
it respect.
literally have
I'm
time for.
keeping it respectful. Yeah, all he did was fuck. My goodness.
Hmm. And everybody in the world is his damn offspring at that point. We all brothers and sisters, cousins, nieces,
Yeah,
nephews,
this is why they
uncles,
say
aunties.
we are all descendants of Adam and Eve. Them two uh,
When
figures
you
in
look
their
at
book.
when you look at polygamous, or I mean, not excuse me, wrong terminology. When you look at societies where they have a lot of incest, that keep like the kings and queens the same bloodline. Once one of them gets a disease, they all got it. So
Ooh, Reggie, don't.
no, I'm not talking about STDs. I ain't talking about STDs.
Okay, okay,
I'm
okay.
talking about like genetic diseases. So it kind of
Uh-huh.
stops the bloodline. So there's no way that we all could be made like that, and especially not from Adam and Eve, because we would have been all had the same stuff and died by now.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that'd be some bullshit.
And this is the thing. People don't think these stories through. Once upon a time there was an Adam and Eve, and Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel, and Cain and Abel went off to the land of Nod and married. Right? They don't think the fine details.
Right.
How if Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel, Abel's dead. It's only Cain. Where did the wife come from? These are the questions that people are not asking. And yeah, it's a lot of questions this whole story is posed that you really need to think through. And Adam and Eve, were they married? Did they get married? God just brought a woman and said, here, take, that's yours. And that whole, when you read that story, God was the one who really started this whole uh misogyny and men being at the top, women being at the bottom. God started all that nonsense, right?
Absolutely.
By creating man first, and then making him lay down and get his rib and create the woman, and all that nonsense. It just, how can I respect that kind of God? If you're going to create both of them at the same time, right? Not creating the animals first and then make him play with the animals, and then just be watching him to see when is he going to recognize he needs his own mate. And as soon as God recognizes he needs his own mate, now let's go create a mate for him. Just the way they describe the God in these books, I I just see a God that has no sense at all. He's senseless, brainless.
Absolutely. And it makes women look like they were only created for our satisfaction and to, was it procreate? That's the
Yes,
correct word?
yes.
Right.
Procreate, yes,
Right.
for procreation. Because of course, I just now I look at these stories and I think, how is God punishing a woman? He punishes the woman through the reproductive system, turns around and tells them, go and multiply.
Right.
Huh? If
Right.
you really wanted them to multiply, then leave the woman's, she would have just been popping out the babies like that without the pain of childbirth. And then the same God, after punishing this woman through her reproductive system, the solution to God's problem, because God now has a problem. God has this problem of, his children are sinful, and he has created this place of eternal torture, hell. He wants his children to come and join him in this place, and so he's got to send his son to come and be the sacrifice to forgive people's sins and to be the atonement and all these things. The solution to God's problem is still the reproductive system of a young girl. God shouldn't have. Why punish Eve when you know that you're still going to need the womb of a woman thousands of years? It's senseless. This God is senseless. He's got no brains.
Why would God punish Eve anyway? And he didn't tell her shit. That's why I keep like, oh, every time I hear the story of Adam and Eve, I just sit there and just wait for women to go off. And the reason why I'm waiting because I'm like, why don't you just say, it's not even our fault. That's on him. That's where the story should start. If I was born female, woman, every time that story come up, I stop you. Like, no, because that ain't on us. That's on Adam. He told his ass that shit, not me. But you know what? We were talking about maybe a week or so ago, and Vessel was online with us, right? We were on another platform, and she said something very, very interesting that I never thought about. So they were talking about how women are punished through childbirth and child pains, blah 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 blah. So she asked the guy, she was like, "Did God punish all female species with that same pain?" And the guy was like, "No, because they don't have souls." So when other mammals give birth, they're not in pain. And the guy was stuck. He was completely stuck because they are. And you can see it by the signs
Was
that they're
he
screaming and yelling and things like that.
was he not trying to say that they go through a different kind of pain? And also saying that the animals don't experience the kind of pain that we do.
Yeah, like he know.
Can I quickly address the comment by Oshi
Hmm.
saying that dowry is a sign of respect to the family of his bride and the value of a woman. It is not a payment and it should not be used to exploit or abuse a woman. I mean, on paper, right? It sounds good, but in reality, is it is it that beautiful? Is it, for example, uh, so after that whole bride price thing, and this man saying to me, "Oh, now that I've paid your bride price, you've got to give it to me anytime I want." The marriage didn't last. The marriage didn't last 1 year and a half after that. Marriage was ended. Marriage was done, right? Because of domestic abuse, right? It was domestic violence. I mean, you guys know I experienced domestic violence, right? This is why my marriage ended. The same person now turns around and says, "I want my money back. Whatever monies that I paid, I want my money back." He called my mom and dad. And that's not the way you do things. That's not the way to go about it. You have to, first of all, start by contacting the elders in your family, and those elders will contact the elders in my family. And they too, first, they will try and see if
I'll be
they
right
can
back.
do some kind of reconciliation, right? Reconciliation of the couple, right? Before they say, okay, the things, this is not going anywhere. And then they now decide, okay, yes, we will have to return the bride price, right? This guy decided to not call. He didn't bother calling any of the elders. Just went straight to my parents and says, "I want my money back. Your daughter says she doesn't want me anymore, and I want my money back." And in African culture, that's you don't do that. That's an insult. That's insulting the family. Oh, my dad was so upset. My dad was, "How dare he?" But anyway, I got him back in the end. You don't do that to my parents. I got him back, and listen, I got him good. Oh, I got him good. It was a thing of joy for me, because let me tell you, you don't mess about. Don't mess about with a woman like that.
But again, that goes back to what I said. I mean, it's kind of
Okay, well,
I'm gonna apologize for what I'm saying before I say it,
okay, go
but
on.
it's only really one way I can say it. The whole situation about dowry and bride price is completely fucked up. To me, it's the people that's on the receiving end of these things that are the
Yes.
most at fault, because even though I know it's fucked up that I'm gonna say this, I know it's fucked up and it's not right, but in a way, you kind of can't blame a person if they pay a certain amount of money. You feel me? Like if a person
Sorry,
just
say
like
that again. Say that again. Say that
you,
again.
you kind of can't blame the person who's paying this money for a particular thing and not getting it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's right. It's fucked up,
But
but
true,
like,
true, true, true. I get it. I
so
get
say
it.
for instance,
I
say a
get it.
man paid
I
ten
get it.
thousand
I get
dollars,
it. I
right?
get it. I
And
get
then
it.
he don't get what he paid for. I'll be like,
I
damn,
get
I
it.
got that
No, I
money
get
back
it.
too. Shit.
I get it.
That's why you got to
No,
just completely
listen.
destroy the whole
I
situation.
I completely understand, right? If I'm no longer married to you and only
Yeah,
just a year and a half ago paid all that money, I want my money back.
yeah.
I
I want my
get
money
it.
back.
I get it. But there was a process, right? There was a process of getting that money back. And you decided not to go through that process. You decided, because I'm angry. because I'm angry now. I've got to, rah, 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 the whole thing. And listen, this is where some people shoot themselves in the foot. Is remember, I told you it was a 50-50 thing between me and him,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Over a period of time, we had, put monies together to
Right.
go do
Right.
this thing. I don't know what happened to the head. His head just forgot that it was a 50-50 thing. And secondly, okay, I don't know if I should be sharing too much information. Secondly, his his mother had borrowed money from me. That's number one. And
Oh
he had promised. Listen, he had promised to pay back that money. He
no.
promised to pay back the money that his mother borrowed from me. He said, I will take care of that money, but never did. Right? Then his brother was getting married and he was stuck and needed to borrow some money. And of course, I was the one, right? And promised I would pay back. So I tell you, I was so clever with this. When he went and called my parents, and my parents rang me very angry. They were very upset that, how dare he call them. I said, okay, fine, I'm sorry he did that. So I went to the Reverend Father of the church I was part of and said, look, I would like to have a meeting with you and with my ex. Well, it wasn't my ex, but with him. Let's sit and have this meeting together. And we were in that meeting. I had my phone on record, and he didn't know. He didn't know I was recording. He thought it was a meeting of reconciliation. I knew it was no reconciliation. I wasn't trying to reconcile with somebody who had abused me for so long. Anyway, in that meeting, I got him to accept that he didn't owe me shit, didn't owe my family shit. In fact, if we were to calculate the monies he had paid for the dowry and all the monies that I'm being owed, in fact, he owes me money. He owes me. So in that meeting, I put my foot down and said, look, I got him to agree that okay, he said those words. Huh? He said those words. Okay, all right, then I'm not going to bother getting my money back. I'm not collecting any money. I had that recorded, right? Got his voice. So yeah, my parents didn't have to pay any money back to him. So sorry, this is not where you wanted to go with this, Reggie. I'm sorry. I know you wanted to
No,
talk about
it's cool.
marriage, polygamy, and all these things.
No, this is very, 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 very informative because again, we know nothing of none of this in the United States. It does not work like that here. Everything you just said is all new to me. Nobody gets married like that here. And the only reason why I know anything about what you're saying is because I used to watch this show called what the name is that damn show? 90 Day Fiance or some shit like
Oh
that.
yeah, 90 Day Fiance, yes.
Yeah, I used to watch that. And I seen this
Mm.
guy, right? I seen this guy marry this girl from Nigeria. Yeah, I think she's from Nigeria.
Mm-mm. Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, well,
and
thank you.
and it was rough
So
for him. It was rough.
sorry to talk over you.
Yeah, the
Miss
girl's
Bazani said
parents
I
was
did.
asking for crazy shit too.
Mm-hmm. Miss Bazani, I did pose the question, why didn't God tell you? Okay, no. Gerwald says, Esther, I did not know or fully understand that your marriage ended because of domestic abuse. I'm so sorry to hear this. Support out to you, and I'm here to listen. Gerwald, thank you. It's been nearly 6 years, and yeah, it's been, and yeah, I don't know if some of you may or may not know, he's now married to my friend, childhood friend, which is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Regarding the beating of the meat, Gerwalk. So Gerwalk, you watched the video of the beating of the meat. Regarding the beating of the meat, like the movie Field of Dream. If you talk about it, they will go. I don't know why people are so invested in people's meat. What is your problem? Leave people to beat the. It is not
Oh, yeah, I know
yours.
what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. The dude, the video you posted.
It's not yours. ah,
Why
oh
does he
my
care?
goodness.
But what's her name? Miss Masani. Did I think you
Okay,
asked the
Gabo.
question. What's her name?
Who?
Okay. Oh yeah, I had to break down to my youngest nephew. Adam fucked up, not Eve. Exactly. That's what I always tell all
Mm,
women. That
mm,
is on
mm,
fucking him. God didn't tell her shit.
yeah.
Nothing.
Listen, this woman comes along. She's new on the scene. You know what women are like, right? Like myself. Look, if eh, I would have been like Eve, in the center of the garden, there's this tree. It's got the most beautiful fruits. It's got the most beautiful everything. Yet we can't touch it.
Right.
And then this silly husband I've got here every day, don't touch, don't touch. I'm thinking, could it be that this guy is just, could it be that he doesn't have a clue what he's talking about? This Adam guy that I am with, right?
Huh?
Could it be that the serpent knows something I do not know? Right? These are the questions that I would be asking. And so, okay, what's the worst case scenario? I'm daring. Sometimes I'm daring. Okay, I dare you. Hello, what's going to happen if I eat this? Right? And so she goes ahead to eat. And the scripture says that all that time he was right next to her. If he didn't want her eating that, why didn't he stop her? And then this silly guy, silly man, now goes and she hands him over some and he grabs and he eats. Oh man, just no, no, no. We're not going to blame that kind of thing on Eve.
It's not on her. Listen, every to me, whenever you read any story and there's a well in the Bible, when there's a good guy and a bad guy, right? It always seems like the good guy ends up being the white man. I'll give you another example, right? So we all know the story
Hmm.
about Jesus being executed and all that. Why do people in a logical thinking mind think that the Jewish people are at fault because of that? How do you think that?
Which
Did
one?
they
About which one? About which one? Sorry.
when Jesus got executed, when he got put on the cross?
I grew up.
How
I grew up on that shit. The Jews
me
killed
too.
Jesus.
Right. How do we logically think that? How do you think it's their fault?
Jesus was a Jew,
That's what I'm saying.
so why would the Jews?
They didn't do anything to him. They didn't do nothing to him. Nothing. The Romans did that shit to him. They're the one that crucified him. If you want to say
That's
it's the
that's if
Jewish people,
that's if that's if
if
he
you want,
existed.
right, how can you blame the Jewish people for saying that he's not the Messiah? He's not, in their opinion. So how are they guilty at this of this shit? I'm like, when is it the white man's fault? When is it his fault? Because they the ones who did the shit. So why are we blaming this shit on the Jewish people? Okay. What's the story about what's his name? Is it Job or Lot? When his wife turned to Shem.
Lot, first
Lot.
lot.
What the fuck did she do? What did she do?
I
Besides
would
look
have
back.
turned back. I would have
That's what I'm
turned back.
saying.
Look, can you imagine a woman, right? A woman, her husband. Guys, you think about how you if you're a woman, how you care for your home, how you go all out to make sure that your home is nice and habitable. And then all of a sudden someone just comes along and says, we've got to leave and we've got to leave now. Can I me listen, me, I would like to pack my perfume, I'd like to pack my deodorant, my bag, and they say no, you cannot get anything, you've got to go or else you're going to be destroyed, right? So this woman is on her way. In her mind she's thinking, what about my mother, what about my father, what about my neighbors? What about, oh shit, I just bought that new the new pot and pans. I'm never gonna get the chance to use it. Right? Just all these things are going through your mind. And in that moment, right, just so this is the way I have looked at that scenario. It could have been a reflex thing. She just, you know, like, oh no, right? Just that sudden looking back, not even thinking about it because of all the many things in her mind that she has left behind, right? And
Yeah.
she gets punished for that. She gets punished.
But then later on in the story, for whatever reason, He has sex with his own two daughters, and God don't do shit.
Wait,
Don't do nothing.
why couldn't God at least keep alive with those girls, two eligible bachelors from Sodom and Gomorrah? Why couldn't we take along with us two men? Why could when your daughters have to jump on top of you, if somehow God doesn't frown on this, God, you know what? I just
After you offered them to the angels that was coming to rape something too. I mean,
what an
excuse me,
idiot!
excuse me.
What an idiot!
After he offered his daughters to the residents of Sodom and Gomorrah when they was trying to come rape the angels.
When
We
I
forget
read
about that part.
after deconstructing, and I read that part of the Bible. I don't know why. Regular. I don't know if you experience this as well. Reading the Bible as an atheist has a different feel to reading it when I was a Christian. When I
Facts.
was a Christian, there were things that I I would read it, but it doesn't jump at me. It's nothing. It just I can easily just flick through it. But as an atheist, it's like, wait, hang on a minute. The first time as an atheist, I spotted that part of that that particular part of the Bible that talks about Lot offering his daughters. I cried. I had to stop. I dropped the Bible and cried because I said, "What father in his right mind does a thing like?" For me, that is, if there was anything at all, Lot should have been the one being punished for
Right.
even attempting to offer his daughters. Come on. The
And then he
Bible,
has sex with them
the,
later.
the Bible's morality is shit. Absolute shit. Bible's morality. Gosh. Mm-mm.
It seems almost like that guy got his wife out the way so he can do that to him. And then why would you listen? First of all, you tried to pimp him out, right? And then all of a sudden it's their fault that
No,
they got you drunk and you had sex with him. Come on,
but
bro.
Reggie, God sent these angels. God sent them. Now Lot is looking after God's angels. He wants to see to it that nothing happens to them. My question is, why can't God look after his angels? He
Right.
sent
Why
them
you
after
gotta do
all.
it?
Why can't God intervene? Why can't God do something? What is this? What is this? This is like the other one. What's his name? Abraham taking his child to have his child sacrificed. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Someone says, "Oh, but he didn't. He didn't sacrifice his child." But they say, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. He
Right.
had already done it in his heart. He had done it. He was prepared to go and sacrifice that child to
It just doesn't make any sense. None of it. But when you are a Christian, it's like you think, okay, well, who are we to question God? God works in mysterious ways. Don't lean on your own understanding. Like, or now that I hear these when Christians talk, they be like, well, you're taking it out of context. That's not what it meant. Do I look fucking stupid to you? That's what every time I want to ask them that. Do I look motherfucking stupid to you? Do you think that you can understand English better than we can? Because you can't.
but Reggie, people question God in the Bible. People question God. Who was the one? I think it was Abraham. God wanted to destroy, it was Sodom. Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah. God wanted to go destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. And God says, if I can find 10 people, then I won't destroy it. And the one I don't remember, the conversation, the back and forth. I was just, what? Oh, are you saying if there weren't five, right? If you're in a fight, would you still go ahead? Yeah, okay, okay, okay. There was someone questioning God. No, you don't get to tell me that I can't question God when the book has people actually questioning the God.
It's sad. And I just wish that people would just take a 30-second Google search on a lot of things that they believe in the Bible, and they would just be disproven so many times.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
AI, because the voice in his head told him to. And yeah, Moses questioned God too. There's cases of people questioning God. So no, you do not tell us that, oh, we can't question God. And a God that cannot be questioned. That is a cult leader. That's some cult leader movement going on there. If your God or your leader, whoever it is, tells you, oh, you cannot question that, you are in a cult. You are in a cult and you should leave fast.
every religion is a cult. Every religion that tells you that either you believe this or you're going to experience eternal damnation is a cult because they're brainwashing you. How can a person tell you something that they don't know for sure just because it's in a fucking book in a language that you can't even read? And the crazy thing about Christianity is more than half of the book comes from a different religion that's written in a language you can't speak. These people don't even believe in the devil or hell. So you take their religion, you remix it, right? And then make up the devil and say if you don't believe the shit, you're going to hell. And y'all still believe this shit? It's crazy.
Mm, mm. And I know you were saying, a lot of your family and friends still very religious. The same here,
Hmm.
same here. But I've come out to my family. I've so don't like what I do. That's on you, right? We don't even talk about it. We don't. It's a subject. My brothers, since the day I told them that I am now an atheist, they've never asked me, so why or what, where, when. No, never. It's never come up in conversation at all. Right. My sister, yes, we've had conversations here and there. But my sister has clearly said she she knows the issues with the religion, but she's not prepared. She doesn't want to even attempt it because she's comfortable where she is. She wants to hold on to that God belief. So which is fine. She can do that. Absolutely.
So with me, I have, my brothers and sisters, they don't really like say nothing about it. My one sister, she used to ask me about it, and but as you can see, I have a lot of mouth, but I have like cousins and things like that, and aunts and uncles that don't want to fool with me because of it. But I feel like if you care more about that book and that religion more than me, and you know me, and I'm really your family, fuck you.
Mm,
Um, with religion, it tries to silence you. I'm the type of person that the second you think that you're gonna tell me what I'm gonna do and what I'm not gonna do, is the second where you got me fucked up. So a lot of times you hear people say, "Oh, don't say that. Why are you posting this? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?" So my question to every last one of you is what are you gonna do? You feel like that you can post God did this for you and God did that for you, and that's your personal belief, right? I call bullshit. So I'm telling
mm,
you, whatever I got going on in my life is because I did it. If I'm gonna go to hell, let me go because I didn't want to go to heaven with you anyway.
mm.
Bottom line.
And can I just say, Reggie, fantastic, job that you have done, right? Making your way out. How many years ago do you reckon you made your way out of religion? How many
Com-
years do you think it's been?
I've only been completely out where I know for a fact that it's all bullshit. A little over a year, but
Really?
it's a gradual concept because
Mm.
it's a gradual concept because just learned a lot of things. Like I said, the first thing that really started me just knowing is knowing the fact the Palestine and Israel situation.
Yes, yes.
Like, why is this happening?
Mm.
If these people are really from this area, why you got to kill them all? Why did
Mm.
you take their country and just completely make it this small from this small? Why are you white? Why are you white in the Middle East?
Mm.
Why? And then when I realized where they're from, oh, then it just let me know that they're trying to make a narrative be true.
I think what shocked me was when I found out that the state of Israel was only uh, founded in 1948.
Yes. Yes.
I'd say okay, that was the year my mother was born.
Yes.
No, it was 1948 she was born. I think it was 1948. I don't know. 1948. I said, so wait, you're telling me there was no state of Israel before then? So what when the Bible is talking about Israel, the people of Israel, and they were in this land and they were in Israel. What, where, Reggie?
Where?
Where were you talking about?
Where? Where? And then look, you know that they think that
The
the land is supposed to stretch to the Nile River, right? You know they believe that, right?
what? Sorry.
They think that their land stretches to the Nile River. And their mission is to
Mm,
keep it
mm,
going.
mm.
That's what their mission is.
I did a video recently. Well, stitched a video on TikTok. Ron Wyatt, the one who thought he had found the ark, the ark, Noah's ark. Apparently, he had found this place where Jesus was crucified,
Hmm.
right? The place where Jesus was crucified. And they dug and dug and dug right underneath. Guess what they found?
Nothing.
No, they found the Ark of Covenant at the bottom.
Well,
How convenient that the Ark of Covenant is found right at the bottom of the place where Jesus was crucified. And guess what else they found?
what?
Blood, which they tested, and that blood has 24 chromosomes, which indicates that it was part human. And I said, come on, people, what is this?
Bullshit.
How is it so convenient that the same place where you find uh, uh, you find where Jesus was crucified is the exact same place, right at the bottom, where there is the Ark of Covenant. Are you people okay? And then now you're testing some blood, and I'm like, no.
The
And
only
Ron Wyatt, Reggie, he was a nurse. He was a nurse.
listen, anybody that believes that Ron Wyatt Noah's Ark story, listen, you ever seen those Carnival cruise ships? You ever seen them before?
Carnival cruise ships, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The dimensions of those ships are way bigger than Noah's Ark, right? And
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you right now that if there's over 8 million different species of animals on Earth, and you're trying to tell me that two of each fit on there, okay, so roughly New York City, right? New York, which is Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and the Bronx, right? If you ever get a chance to go there, it's so fucking jam packed. There's about 9 or 10 million people there. There's motherfuckers everywhere. And I'm telling you that there's no way that even that many people could fit on a fucking Carnival cruise line. So what makes your ass think that 17 million people can fit on that little ass? I mean, 17 million different species
Animals.
of animals can fit on that fucking boat. You got to be crazy to believe that. You
No,
gotta be.
Reggie. No, Reggie. I don't care. I don't care. I do not care if that story was real. Honestly, not that I don't care. I do care. What I'm saying is, if that story is found to be true,
It's not.
there was a Noah. There was. I'm just saying, if it was, for me, it was the day I was reading it, and it dawned on me that there was not one single baby that made it onto that boat. Not even one child, one infant didn't make it on that boat. It was case closed for me. I couldn't. I'm sorry. How are we keeping animals? How are animals more important? Well, please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that animal life is more important than human life, right? But at least one baby, at least one child, and the fact that there was none. I'm sorry. There's nothing you can say to me. If they find Noah's Ark, right? I would rather, accept that it was not a real story. But if they find any evidence that that story was in fact true,
It's
that
impossible.
would further prove to me that that God is a wicked, evil motherfucker.
It's just not
Just
possible.
no. I'm saying if it is, if they find it.
And it would prove that he made a mistake. So that means he's not all knowing. Because he flooded the earth because he was upset of what human beings did. Therefore, he made a mistake. He's not all knowing. That's one mistake. Creating Satan is another mistake because obviously you thought he was good enough to be an angel. Another mistake. So the whole situation just it just doesn't make any sense. And then, like I said, when you just look at the history of the situation, there's so many dead ends on it, or myths, or Greeks, or both, or Romans.
Miss Masani says that's why. Maya says the New Agers think Noah just bought the DNA samples on. Ah, just brought the DNA samples on the boat. Okay, and that's why the Noah's Ark fairy tale is told to children. Easier for malleable minds to believe that tribe. Um, and this is why they beautify the story. It's made to look like such a, two by two. The animals came in two by two. Make it so beautiful and so. I've got a children's Bible here. You should see some of the pictures in there about the animals coming in two by two. So nice. But in reality, tell those children one of you didn't one at least one child like yourself, not even one, made it onto that two by two nonsense. See what I mean? Just no,
You
no.
got to be stupid to believe that. Like, I mean, literally, you got to be stupid to believe that. You got to be stupid to believe the whale story when he survived in the stomach for 3 days. You got to be stupid to believe in an immaculate conception based on the fact that we've heard this story 5 or 6 times previous to that. You got to be stupid to believe it. That's why, I see these people like, oh, I went to college and I'm a theologist, blah, 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 blah. And I've been in the ministry 30 years and you don't know what you're talking about. I still see that block on your brain. That's blocking you. So
Mm.
until you get past this part, miss me with what you're talking about because you're stupid. Bottom line. So what you got going on for the rest of the day, Afro?
Um, I'm recording a couple of videos,
Okay.
so yeah, recording those and might stream later on. I'll see how I feel. Yeah,
Okay.
well,
Definitely
nothing.
follow her if you're not following her already on most social media outlets. What's your address again so we can look you up for whoever doesn't have you?
The Afro atheist.
Okay.
And please, guys, make sure to follow Reggie.
So this
It's
week,
nice to it's
go
nice
ahead.
nice to get fresh faces. It's nice to, the more voices speaking up about why we walked away from religion, um, atheism. It's about normalizing atheism, normalizing, right? The face of atheism. Once upon a time, when you said, atheism, people thought about, white men, uh, you know, older white men, professors, university professors, all educated and all, there was a picture, there was an image that you thought of when you thought atheist. But that's completely changed. There's a whole lot more, people of black origins and, other ethnicities that are, starting to realize that we do not need religion and it's okay. It's okay to not be religious. It's okay. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that one day most people will realize, regardless of what you believe, that the day that you were born, you didn't have a belief system. You didn't.
Mm-mm,
Somebody taught it to you. You were programmed. They downloaded it into your brain And now that's what you believe. And if you were in a different situation, you would believe different things. The hardcore proof of that is we all have friends, family members, whatever, that have different beliefs. The reason why they believe what they believe is because that's what their parents taught them. So one day we all got to wake up. This week, I should be streaming again, probably on Wednesdays. AAA Podcast Sports. Check me out, youtube.com at Godless Reggie, or you can find me on my Facebook page as well. Um, I haven't got my Instagram going yet. I'm still in jail on that or whatever, so I can't post on there. Definitely next Sunday, same time, around 11, 12 o'clock, around church time. I'll be back here again with more of this. I'll probably have Afro on here again. So I don't know exactly what the topic is going to be, but it's, same show, faith, lies, and confusion. Instead of going to church, you can come here and learn about your religion.
Hang out with us.
Yep. All right. I want to thank everybody for posting,
And don't
sharing.
forget everyone to give the stream a thumbs up.
Definitely, definitely. I want to thank everybody for coming out today. Thank you, Afro. You got anything else?
No, no, that's it. That's it. Thank you, everyone, and let's see you again soon.
Good night. Thanks, Jerwalk. Thanks,
Bye.
Miss Masani.
Bye,
Thanks, AR.
everyone. Bye bye.